I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Sunday, September 3rd, 2023, and we have a couple interesting topics. Before we do, hold that thought. I need to grab something to assist. Had a little bit of a disaster right before going live, and I'm trying my best to get caught up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up my own stream on this tablet to follow along with the chat. I had a link set up earlier, but I guess YouTube mobile doesn't let you do that. Every time you go live, it doesn't show you anything you've scheduled. Um, Let me know. Like I said, I'm about to bring this up here. Let me know how the audio is, if anybody could. Oh dear Lord, I don't have the Wi-Fi password. Jesus. Um, okay, well, let me bring that up. In the meantime, I'll do this on my other tablet. I could do this with one tablet, I guess. Um, Internet browser, YouTube home. Okay, sorry, I'm going to bring my own stream up here just to see who all's in the chat, if anybody. Let me go ahead and mute this one. See who all's in the chat, if anybody. Come on, let me mute it. Where's the mute button? Okay, I'm just going to turn the volume down. Okay. Live chat, live chat. Okay. Nobody currently in the chat, it doesn't seem. Where the hell is the live chat on this browser? Turn it sideways. Okay. Sorry, technological errors here. Okay, I guess they don't let you look at the chat from the browser. Awesome. Well then. Hmm. Use desktop site. Let's try this. There we go. This might work. So, the topic at hand. So, sorry for the unprofessionalism. I'm trying to do this on the road. I'm on vacation in fabulous sunny Las Vegas. As you can tell from the way I'm dressed, it's going to be pool day. Okay, the chat is loading. Okay. I'm going to put a test in the chat. Let's see if this works. Hey, it did. Okay, so now I can see the chat. The one thing I cannot do is bring up the tweets I wanted to talk about, but that's okay. Um, so this sucks. This really sucks. I hate doing videos like this because one of the things I hate doing is talking about other content creators and drama and internet stupidity. And so if you watched my Wednesday walking around downtown Vegas streams, I briefly mentioned this beef between Vito and Dick Masterson and Eric July about the Rippaverse comics and ISOM. And if you're not familiar with some backstory on that, it's Vito was going in hard about how nobody was saying this was going to be a good comic. They were just saying that it's an alternative comic. Um, and then that's why you should buy it. I have no problem with that take. Honestly, when Comicsgate first started, I bought Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog Blood Honey, excuse me, and I bought Richard Seed Meyer's Ironsides and Jawbreakers. Your boy Zach, as he's known on the internet. Anyway, so but before we go any further, I want to say I am still doing toasts. I'm not doing toasts with whiskey though. I know it seems insane. I'm in Las Vegas. There's whiskey everywhere. I could get whiskey at the drop of a hat. It was all just slightly too inconvenient for me to deal with right before a stream. I did buy me a brand new bottle of Buffalo Trace on my way back to the room today. I'm going to be keeping that sealed for the flight. I'm going to take it back to Kansas City, and anybody who chats me in, says hello in the chat today, I'm going to uh, toast them with either Mountain Dew or Starbucks frozen pineapple drink today, and I will save your name and toast you again this upcoming Wednesday from my office with the Buffalo Trace. So that's my deal to you. You come in, you say hi in the chat, and I will toast you twice. I'll toast you once on this stream, toast you with liquor on my next stream. So come on in, say hi. I can see the chat from here. But anyway, back to the topic. So I bought these two comics, these three comics when Comicsgate first started kicking off GoFundMe's and selling their comics online, and this idea that the goal of Comicsgate was first to point out the problem with the mainstream, and then it evolved into becoming a competition for the mainstream. You had independent alternative creators deciding to make their own thing as an alternative to the woke garbage being crammed down our throat by mainstream comic publishers and mainstream fiction writing. Poorly written trash. And you know, here's the misnomer. Here's the problem with Vito's take. I don't think anyone who purchased Isom, or anyone who purchased Cyberfrog Blood Honey, or anyone who purchased Iron Sights expected fucking War and Peace. Nobody expected a masterpiece out of the gate. We weren't looking for the next Watchmen, right? We just wanted something where every other page wasn't a forced lesbian relationship. We wanted we didn't want something where every other page was transgenderism being shoved down our kids' throats. So this idea that, well, Vito felt the need to criticize the writing of Isom, and then over time, Dick Masterson defended that take and then did his own review of the comic. And ever since then, it's become this, butthurt critique where Dick Masterson has felt the need to continue to talk about Eric July, continue to talk about the people who have put a lot of time and effort in helping Eric July promote the comic, and kind of calling them shills, and I think even Nick Rekieta said line towers, and that people have asked him to toe the line. That's one perspective of it, and that's a valid perspective. That's a valid understanding of the situation. But again, these are people who have helped promote the comic. These are people who have put time and effort into helping Eric make these sales, get on his feet, and make Isom a success. Now, whether or not it's a writing success, it is a financial success. It is a business success. And I would say that because it sells more comic books than Joe Quesada of Marvel, or Jeff Johns is selling at DC, I think that really says something for the marketing viability of even not good writing. Okay? Because here's the thing, Iron Sights wasn't good writing. It had a good story. It was better than I expected, but it's still, it's not a masterpiece. Jawbreakers wasn't a masterpiece. I personally thought Cyber Frog Blood Honey. Now, I'm sorry, Ethan Van Sciver. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to trash Ethan Van Sciver, but Cyber Frog Blood Honey was not. Oh, cheers to Talk with Sally in the chat. Good seeing you here. Thank you for stopping by. Toast you with a little Mountain Dew, and then I'll toast you again Wednesday with my Buffalo Trace. I thought the writing on Cyberflug Blood Honey was very bad. I thought the decision to basically build up to a crescendo and then nothing happened. I mean, it was literally nothing, 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 and then cliffhanger. Um, I haven't read the follow ups. I guess he's now had two follow ups to Cyberfrog Blood Honey. I haven't read those. I might pick those up at a future date, but I didn't think it was well written. However, it was well drawn. The art was respectful. I don't regret my purchase of Cyberfrog Blood Honey. And here's the thing. I don't think, and I swore I would buy Isom, but I was too late. I didn't get the first Isom. Still debating on whether or not to get the second Isom. I think it's still in demand. Um, but that's beside the point. I'm not necessarily trying to make this a conversation about comic books and comic book critique. My point is, this is the defense of Dick and Vito, is that they just went into this trying to critique a comic book. And if you believe that, then I have a pile of manure to sell you. It's not real manure, it's just piles of dog crap in my backyard, but you know, it's quality for your gardening needs. Folks, Dick and Vito are both shock jock type entertainers. There's a certain level of antagonism that they are required to present in order to have content. And I said on my last stream walking through Vegas that if it wasn't for this church suing Eric DeJuly, because that's ultimately what happened, is Dick's audience, someone in Dick's audience or someone familiar with the Dick show. I'm not going to blame Dick and Vito because I don't have proof of that, although Vito did say we. He used the royal we, and the royal we is going to come up again here in just a minute because I'm still talking backstory. I'm going to get into the meat of this conversation here in just a second. The reason I wanted to talk about this topic, I'm going to get into that in just a second. Just let me finish setting up just real quick in case there's some viewer out there who still don't know what's going on. Vito used the royal we when talking about the people who contacted this Christian education publisher who has a trademark on the word Isom. They have now threatened to sue. I don't think they've officially filed a lawsuit, but they have threatened to sue Ripaverse over the Isom trademark, Eric DeJuly. So here we are. We have two sides of an internet fight. And I've mostly stayed out of it. I touched on it a little bit on my last live stream saying that I think if it wasn't for the lawsuit stuff, it wasn't for the legal stuff, then I would bet they're all in on it together to create content. Sorry about the loud noise. Because this is what happens, you know. It's kind of like when Amaranth made up this story of abuse. She may have been abused, but it became a vehicle for her to make content and donations. I don't know if that's what Dick and Vito are doing, and I don't know if that's what Eric DeJuly and the Friday Night Tights guys and the Neurotic, and I don't know if their side, if they're trying to generate internet beef to create content. It doesn't matter to me one way or another. because it's internet R words. I can't use the R word on YouTube, but you know which R word I'm talking about. It's internet R words. It's ops. It's a bunch of ops. Both directions. It's ops. Now, having said that, there is one content creator, and again, I hate always talking about Nick Ricada on my channel. He comes up every 3 or 4 months on my channel with one of these topics. I'm in the circle to some degree, so I see a lot of the things Nick Ricada posts, but he happens to be smack dab in the middle because all of these people are his friends. And I use that quotation mark because I want to be very clear. I don't think this is friendly behavior on the side of Nick Ricada. Now, going back to what I was saying, Vito is a shock jock. Part of his whole shtick is to take things too far, is to say something that's going to shock the conscience, to say things that are going to create conversation, create engagement online, to make people disagree with him. And the whole him getting assaulted at the Netflix protest. I don't know if you all are familiar with that, but there was a whole protest on Netflix, and when Dave Chappelle was being canceled, I didn't agree with Vito being assaulted there, and I don't believe in violence. I don't believe this beef is internet. Like I said, internet R words. Um, Let me know how the audio is in the chat. I'm using my Bluetooth. I don't know if I don't know if there's a lot of interference. I don't know if there's a lot of echo. This room is pretty open. So let me know how the audio is, please, if anyone's in the chat right now. Um, so again, I believe this is a bunch of internet R word stuff. However, there are a lot of people over the last couple of days who have focused on a series of tweets that Vito has put out in the past that seem to be out of context replies to flame wars. And we all get into these flame wars on the internet. In fact, I raised my hand. I got in a flame war with Nick Ricada's editor, Ryan the editor. I got in a flame war with him on Twitter yesterday. Okay, Sally says audio is fine. Check out with Talk with Sally's channel if you can. Thank you, Sally. I appreciate that. That is awesome of you to let me know about the audio. Also, check out Sally78 on Twitch. She does these awesome movie watch parties. It's a fun time. Check it out. Anyway, as I was saying with Vito, a lot of people on the Ripaverse side of the debate have been focusing real heavy on this series of tweets that are out of context, flame war replies, where Vito has said some pretty sexual things about minors, some pretty map apologist type stuff. And people have rightly called him out on it. Now, part of the debate in various chat rooms and across Twitter is okay, is this just comedy? Is this just spicy words? Is this just something to provoke a response? Is this just something to be an opposition? Something to be a contrarian? Is this comedy? Is this protected comedy? These are a lot of questions and a lot of debates that are being had around Vito's tweets. Okay, now I'm gonna have to go to Twitter. So I'm not going to see chat for just a minute. So bear with me. If you say hi in the chat, I will come back to you. Where did I did this in the wrong order? I was supposed to bring up the Ricada chat first, but spotlight for your profile. Okay, that's a new thing on Twitter. Here, let me just search for Vito tweets, because I want to be able to read them verbatim, if I can, without getting banned from YouTube. Veto. Let's see. Okay. So one of them is, I am not joking. Hide your children because I am coming for them. I cannot stop myself. After I finished BFing this 8-year old, he gave me some great tips on doing crowd work. I am not trying to fool anyone. I am going to F your kids. There was one more that was. Oh, here we go. Here's the important one in my opinion. I think you're underestimating how many normal men could be aroused by a minor under particular circumstances. And there was one more that was the royal we. Someone had asked about maps. Where is it? Here, we go. Veto we. Okay, so uh, the fact that this take is controversial is a sad reminder that we still live in an intellectual dark age. And then someone says, what does not offending mean? You never touched a kid, never looked at CP? If you're into kids, there's only one solution. And then he replies, non offending means that we understand breaking existing laws is a no no. So he's kind of implying with the royal we that maps minor attractants know not to physically touch kids, but he's using the word we to refer to maps. Oh, Lord. How to unpack this? Now, like I said, a lot of debate has been going on whether these are just out of context flames, whether these are comedy gone awry, whether these are whether he intended to say it, whether he was pretending, whether he was being a contrarian, you know, all of the above. But one thing is clear. Come on. I'm opening freaking. No. Stupid tab. Okay, now. Sorry, I gotta find Nick Ricada's tweet because it perfectly shows why I'm opposed to these takes. That it's just comedy, or that we should leave Vito alone. Of course, Nick Ricada has been tweeting like crazy about Starfield and other topics today. I guess Starfield's the new topic. I'm a few days behind, folks. I haven't talked about video games and pronouns. I'm sorry. Not going to be able to talk about that. I will, however, later in the show, I'll cover a little bit of my opinion on whatever the hell is going on at Burning Man. Okay, so here we go from Nick Ricada. This is a fun misunderstanding. People aren't defending Vito as a sacred cow of comedy. People are frustrated that people are intentionally misunderstanding his obvious, albeit shitty, jokes. The community doing this has routinely had their speech intentionally misunderstood to be labeled racist, misogynistic, insurrectionist, and more. It's part of why the community exists in the first place. The people defending the sacred cow also defending this community for the same thing. Also defended this community for the same thing. No, I completely disagree, Nick. This goes out to Nick Ricada. I completely disagree. When people were, when Vito his fucking self went after Nerdrotic for the crime of having a conversation with Alex Jones. That was deplatforming. When you see someone complaining on Twitter to YouTube that there are misogynists and racists, that is deplatforming. That is saying, YouTube, please remove this content. That's what people are fighting. People are fighting deplatforming. And I had this whole debate with Ryan, the editor, yesterday. And he doesn't, like, people don't seem to get this fine line between deplatforming and complaining about the content, which is hilarious, because that's Vito and Dick's whole defense is we were just providing a critique, while Vito tells people for over a year not to buy this comic. We were just providing a critique. And so now the people are just providing a critique of Vito's tweets. People are just saying, hey, look at what this guy said. This is kind of outrageous, isn't it? They're not tagging YouTube. They're not going after Vito's employers and streamers, and they're not going after his payment processors and saying, hey, look, this guy's a map. You don't want to. They're not going after advertisers. They're merely going on Twitter and saying, hey, look at what this guy said. Nick Rekieta, you said, albeit shitty, obvious and albeit shitty jokes. Like, you even know the jokes are bad. The jokes are in bad faith. They're in bad taste. And so I tried to tell Ryan, the editor, there's a difference between the right to speak and the choice to say something bad. If they were trying to take Vito down, if they were trying to get him removed from the internet, trying to get, I don't know, let's say he's doing stand-up comedy this Friday somewhere, if they're trying to get the venue to shut him down, I wouldn't agree with that. I don't think that's the way to go about doing these things. Let me get the chat back up now that I'm kind of done with Twitter. Let me bring the chat back up. This idea that, we're protecting his right to speak. No, you don't have to. And this is where the sacred cow thing comes in. This idea that, it's just comedy, so we have to make apologies for it. No, you don't have to. Like I said, the people coming after people for being homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, ableist, whatever, they want to go full bore. They want big tech to change their policies or enforce their policies more harshly against conservatives to get them kicked off for their political battle. That's different. That's different than saying, man, this guy said something so disgusting and abhorrent that he wants to F an 8-year-old, or that, we are attracted to minors. This guy said something so abhorrent that we don't think he's a nice guy to be taking sides against a comic book creator. Like this is the guy you're agreeing with. And while I don't necessarily agree with that as a debate tactic, like, to me, that's all red herring shit. But I do think context is important, and I think that's the context by which people are speaking. And the idea that Nick Rekieta thinks, this. Don't get me wrong, even Chrissy Mayer's come out and said, it's just jokes. It's bad jokes, but it's jokes. But again, the fact that you know it's bad jokes, the fact that you know it's in bad taste, tells me that you recognize that this is a difference between a freedom of speech issue, one in which people are trying to shut down speech, versus one by which people are saying, you spoke, you had your opinion, Here's my critique of your opinion. It's not good. So that's my rant. That's my rant. I had to rant about all of the people defending veto on the altar of the freedom of speech when nobody's trying to take his freedom away at all. They're simply saying you're an asshole for saying it. Now, wow, let me talk a little bit about what's going on in Burning Man. And again, I also keep meaning to cover eventually Hawaii and the tragedies that happen there. Some of the conspiracy theories and some of the things. I mean, I kind of touched on it a few shows ago, but whatever's going on at Burning Man, and this is another situation like Hawaii where I'm hearing a lot of conflicting reports. I guess at some point somebody said somebody had Ebola and there was a breakout, and then the media had to come and fact check it and say it was false. So, I mean, again, here we are. We don't know what the hell is what. There was flooding. I guess even Chris Rock posted that they weren't coming to clean the porta potties. They weren't restocking supplies. And I guess some people were talking about the gates being closed. And I guess Chris Rock and like 100 other people had to hike a few miles in order to find vehicular transportation that would bring them out of the rural area there. And I'm seeing a lot of. I guess there was a private plane that was. Then it wasn't a quarantine. They were checking. So again, we're hearing so many conflicting reports, so weird stories coming out of the mud pit known as Burning Man that I think I wanted to just briefly mention it on my stream as a news story you might want to keep an eye on in the coming days. Uh, I've never been to Burning Man, don't really care to, but I do find it quite interesting. All of the narratives and false narratives coming out of that. Now, having said that, that's what this show is about. This show, my show, is about false narratives. That's why I wanted to cover the veto stuff, because all of this freedom of speech thing to me is a false narrative. It's not about freedom of speech, it's about critiquing that speech. Um, Real quick, just an update on my life over the last week. I do want to apologize for how broken up and short my live stream was on Wednesday. I had landed in Nevada, kind of scrambled from the airport. It was 115 degrees, and I could not find a place to live stream that didn't have copyrighted music. And you all know that YouTube will grab your shit and put ads on it and give other people any kind of money. And I don't really monetize my streams, but I don't want my live streams attached to other people's shit, so I try to avoid that. Um, so I kind of meant to do a makeup stream, and there may be some future streams where I do some interesting things. Um, Sally, if you're still out there, I want to kind of have a conversation with you about maybe doing some collaborations. I know that I'm going to be trying to stream somewhere in Nashville in advance of Nick Ricetta's meetup. That'd be Saturday the 16th. I believe his show is 6 o'clock Central Time, which is my usual live stream time. I could be wrong about that, but I would try to go live in advance of that if I can, from somewhere at or near the venue. And if any of Ricetta's locals chat, if any of his fans out there want to be a part of my live stream, just hit me up in Nick Ricetta's locals. Um, Sally says about what issue. I just want to talk to you about potential collaborations. We were kind of talking about that movie night last night in the chat. I just kind of want to run a couple things by you. Especially now that you're doing documentaries on your channel, I find that fascinating. And there's definitely a few that I might want to cover on my channel. So maybe we could do some sort of collaboration. You have StreamYard. I'm going to be getting a StreamYard account, even if I only keep it for a month or two. I'm working on that behind the scenes. Um, anyway, I was running through 50 thoughts in my mind at once, and I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked. So that's kind of my tentative live stream schedule. I'm going to keep my normal Wednesday, Saturday in my office for the next week and a half, but September the 16th, I'm going to try to stream from somewhere in Nashville. If you want to be a part of that stream, if you're going to be in Nashville for Nick Ricada's meetup, you want to be a part of that stream, hit me up in the locals chat. We'll find a time and a place to meet up, and we'll make it a pretty fun stream. Okay, she says, I like StreamYard. Good, I hope so. I'm probably going to have to try to figure out how to do the OBS virtual cam. And if I could figure that out, and if I could figure out how to get StreamYard to work with my phone or my tablets, that's just going to make things 20 times better. Where was I? Okay, so yeah. I wasn't quite sure what to expect when I got to Vegas for trying to do a live stream. You know, previously I did a couple of videos from the Strip area, and you know, I was kind of able to just get behind a hotel, you know, go down an alley, or find a little courtyard or park where there wasn't any music playing. I'm staying downtown, and you know, Fremont Street is like, it's literally just a long tunnel of music. And then literally every casino surrounding it is a long tunnel of music. And even the parking lots are music, and bars, music. And like, you literally have to come up into the hotel to escape copyrighted music. And so I wasn't really sure what to expect. I kind of impromptu went live, walking the street in 115-degree weather, and I couldn't really get my thoughts out very well. And I talked a little bit about this kid and his "Don't Tread on Me" patch, and hopefully I covered that as well as I could. I have to go back and rewatch the video to even know what narrative I gave it, other than just, you know, the school was trying to tread on the kid. See what Sally's saying now. Easy on phone. That's why she switched. All right, cool. Good. So I might want to do that before I do Nashville, which is my plan. And hopefully it will let me multi-stream to Rumble, which, being able to stream to Rumble from my phone, like, that's a deal maker for me. That I'm willing to pay $25 a month for. But again, I don't know if that's true or not, so we'll have to see. Let me go ahead and finish my pineapple Starbucks here. So, Las Vegas is an interesting city. My luck hasn't been great as far as gambling. I'm not a big gambler. I used to work at a casino in Kansas, well, in Missouri, for about 5 years, and I got to see the high rollers. I got to know a lot of high rollers pretty well, and I got to see a lot of people hitting rock bottom as far as gambling addictions go. And so I'm always hesitant when it comes to gambling. And one of the things I like to do is go in with a strategy, go in knowing exactly how much I'm willing to win, how much I'm willing to lose, and how much I'm willing to walk away from. So, you know, gambling is an interesting thing where it takes money to make money, but you gotta know when not to chase. So yeah, I'm down quite a bit of money. I did a lot of shopping for some more formal clothing than what I put on a lot of weight over the past year, folks, and a lot of my dressier clothes no longer fit. So I went and got fitted and got a whole new wardrobe and spent a couple $1,000s between that and gifts and souvenirs, and I I went way over the budget I had planned on spending on this vacation, but you know what? It might be worth it. So yeah, I've done a lot of shopping. I've done a bit of gambling. Last night I had the chance to see the Beatles Cirque du Soleil show. It was fabulous, very expensive but fabulous. I recommend going. One thing I haven't really taken a lot of part of is just hanging out at bars and drinking, which is surprising for me because I love bourbon. And the last time I was in Vegas, I spent hours. Instead of sleeping, I was spending hours hanging out with Nick Rekieta and the Rekieta the Rekieta chat members in the Venetian, drinking at the bar. Uh, yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of drinking this time, which is surprising. However, I've noticed a weird phenomenon. Like I don't know if it's the travel, I don't know if it's the mass-produced food here in Vegas, which the restaurants I've spent a lot of money at restaurants. I've eaten at buffets, I've eaten at steakhouses. I've been doing it right. I've been doing Vegas right. Um, but yeah, it's kind of got my digestive system acting weird. I mean, I've had to take Pepto Ammonium. Like, I'm not trying to get graphic details, but like I don't know if it's the travel or the preservatives they put in the food or the fact that I've just eaten so much food that it just I have not felt right all week. Um, but also, there's been this weird Murphy's Law thing going on, and I'm not going to speak much of this into existence while I'm still here because I have a whole other day to hang out here and gamble and do things. And I don't want to tempt fate, but it's almost like every little task I try to accomplish has one little thing going wrong with it, and it's a little hilarious, but it's okay. I mean, things happen. It's life. Life throws you curveballs, folks, and there have definitely been a few curveballs. Uh, some of the shopping had to be really re-examined. Um, some of the places I've eaten at, my servers just disappear for 45 minutes. Or I'll be gambling at a machine and order a bourbon, and then again, 45 minutes goes by, and oh, it was shift change. The cocktail waitress just left, and there's a new cocktail waitress, and like things you would expect to happen. And then, so I waited 45 minutes for a bourbon and a Coca Cola and a bourbon. I get my Coca Cola and bourbon. I hit I play a little more down in my machine. I slam my bourbon. I stand up. I'm carrying my drink. I need to use the restroom. I hand my drink to my girlfriend. I go into the restroom. I come out. She's standing there holding her drink. I don't see my drink anywhere. She goes, "Oh, yeah, some lady ran by, hit me in the elbow, spilled your drink, and then yelled at me for it." All right. Like, I waited 45 minutes for that Coca Cola. And now I got one drink of it, one sip, and some lady knocked it out of my girlfriend's hand and ran off screaming. So, it other than these little awkward things, I've been having a fabulous time. It's been an amazing week, and I hope to tell you folks more about more fun future fun times. Uh, okay, yeah, all right. So we've got 10, well, maybe 12 minutes. Well, 15 minutes of show left. Let's see, what else should I talk about? What else has been in the news, folks? I have not paid any attention to any election news, to any legal news. I have not paid any attention. Let's see if I'm going to get this other tablet going on the internet, and we will talk about whatever's trending. How about that? How about we do that? Because I do not want to cut this stream short after cutting my last one so short. Uh, But anyway, let me know in the chat. What are your thoughts of Las Vegas? Have you been? Do you want to go? Have you had any interesting experiences like, a lady knocking a drink out of your hand that you had to wait 45 minutes to get? For example, one interesting thing that happened when I worked at a casino, I was pushing a cart full of food because I worked in the food and beverage. I was pushing a cart full of food through the casino floor, and I hear a young lady say the word hit, and I hear a dealer say the word bust. And I see a gentleman reach back and abuse his girlfriend, like backhand, right off the chair, and immediately security bum rushed the guy. And I kind of glanced down at the table. She hit, got the card he needed, and he was about to hit, and then she bust and he bust. And if he would have got her card, he would have won, and she would have won. Probably because the dealer didn't have 21. The dealer would have had to hit as well. The dealer didn't. I think it was a 15, soft 15. Anyway, but the point is, I see this guy hit his girlfriend for essentially gambling. Because here's my thing: like if you can't handle yourself in a situation like that, low storage, what the fuck? If you can't handle yourself in a situation like that, then like you shouldn't be gambling. And at the very least, you shouldn't be gambling with your girlfriend. Like she should be at a different table. Don't abuse your loved ones, folks. Another situation, had a guy bring a $6 comp and asked what he could buy at the deli and buy anything, maybe a slice of cake. And he's like, well, you can't give me the whole cake. I'm like, no, I can't give you the whole cake. He goes, well, no, I need the whole cake. It's like, okay, well, it's going to be like $25. And he goes, no, I don't have $25. All I got is comp. And I said, well, then all you're getting is a slice of cake. He goes, no, you don't understand. I have to take my wife something. I have been here for 4 days. I spent all the money I had in the bank, my Friday paycheck, my wife's Friday paycheck, and she doesn't even know where I've been. Whew. Fun times. Fun times. I also had a guy come up and tell me that, like, he had a whole weekend of 777 that he was playing Texas Hold'em, went all in with a 3 of a kind, walked away with a bunch of money, went down to the blackjack, 7 sevens, somehow got 3 sevens in blackjack. That's like unheard of. Like 7, 14, okay, hit me on 14. Oh, look, another 7. There you go, boom, 21. Like, how often does that happen? Got 7, 7, 7 in poker, one with a 3 of a kind. and like even in Texas Hold'em, like you got pocket sevens, you get one on the turn. You're hoping because seven's not a high card. You're hoping like any high cards showing, somebody's not going to pair those, but you already got a three of a kind. It's ballsy to go all in on triple sevens in Texas Hold'em. I don't know what other cards he had showing, but it was a ballsy move and it paid off. And then he doesn't split his sevens. He hits his sevens, gets 21, gets a decent amount of money there. And then he said he was playing a red, white, and blue machine, which was the hot thing back in the 90s, right? Was playing a red, white, and blue machine, got red, white, blue seven. Uh, Walked away with a bunch of money just all weekend, just sevens, man. That's that dude's lucky number. My lucky number is 8. Let me know in the chat or in the comments what your lucky number is, or let me know on Twitter what's your lucky number. Right? Maybe that's what I ought to add. Maybe I ought to just engage Twitter. What is a lucky number? What is your lucky number? I think I'll post that on Twitter when I get off of here. Uh, so if you're not following me on Twitter, the link is down in the description. The link to my Rumble channel is also down in the description. I'm going to try to do more simul streaming to Rumble and YouTube once I get StreamYard going. Um, I might do my hour show, but but 30 minutes on YouTube, 30 minutes on Rumble. I know a lot of people who have Rumble contracts, like that's the way they've been doing it. So we'll see how it works out. Uh, yes, I don't have a Rumble contract. I just want to be able to talk about things that I just want to be able to cover some topics on a Rumble only part of a show that I wouldn't normally cover on YouTube. Um, so yeah, so far we only got Sally going to be getting a toast on the Wednesday show of the Buffalo Trace. Um, I tried to post. I tried to post an extra link everywhere. I don't know how many people saw it. I don't know how many people are subscribed to me here on YouTube with the whole notification bell. So it's probably just that people are so used to me being on Rumble, they're so used to me getting the notification there that they don't have a notification bell clicked any longer here on YouTube. So I knew it'd be a smaller audience today, but that's okay. Hopefully, people will catch it on the replay. If you're catching me on the DVR, thank you for stopping by. I totally appreciate your time and your willingness to watch this madman rambling from a hotel room. Um, oh yeah, I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up Twitter and talk about whatever the hell's trending. Let's see what the hell's trending on Twitter. What do we have this week? Okay. Rap, Christian, Burning Man, already talked about it. Smash Mouth video games. What? US Open, sports, Jeff Clark. Wow. Nazis is trending. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's something we didn't talk about. This false flag. I don't even know. See, what is this? Altamont Springs, Florida? No, that ain't it. I can't. Okay, so somewhere in Florida was these same idiots, feds, plants. Laura Loomer's saying she's filming it and they're yelling at her. Everyone wants to distance themselves from the Nazis, from skinheads, from hate. And again, as I've said before, I've had people infiltrate my protests with messages that I wasn't trying to convey. It happens. Uh, Controlled opposition happens. And so I never believe it when I see these types showing up to disrupt a political situation. I did see where there was it Rolling Stone? Somebody said that there's that Nazis are saying they support DeSantis. I think that was these guys. The Nazis were saying they support DeSantis, and then someone posted the longer clip, and then literally right after that they said, fuck DeSantis, say DeSantis can, go away or whatever. And I'm using flowery language to describe something that was a lot more harsh. Let's see, we have. Damn it, where'd my trending go here? I clicked back once and it like went all the way out of the ad. One thing that is pretty neat is my first time in Vegas. There was only like a few casinos that had a really super dedicated, sports book watching. And a lot of more casinos have like sportsbook bars. I mean, the Circa, holy crap, they had like a whole stadium bowl just to sit and watch sports and bet on it. Man, it's awesome. Uh, Nazis, Logan Paul. Why is Logan Paul trending again? Oh yeah, wrestling. The whole if you're not familiar, if you're a fan of wrestling, this whole situation with CM Punk is just weird. Um, but CM Punk being fired from AEW for, I guess, more backstage bullying, weird shit. So I guess AEW All Out is tonight. Yeah, there's nothing really worthwhile to write home about in the trending. So I am looking forward. Next weekend is NFL kickoff week. Going to be dealing with the 7 hours of red zone. So I'm looking forward to it. Um, so feel free in the comments below or on Twitter to give me your NFL season predictions. Always interested in that. Um, yeah, my next stream is going to be back in my office in Central Kansas. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've been home. I miss my doggy. I miss my job. I miss my coworkers. I miss some of the fun I have at home. Don't get me wrong. I love Vegas. I love being here, and there's so much more I wish I could do. Flying home tomorrow. Don't have time to do everything I want to do. I still have yet to go to the freaking mob museum, folks. Like that was like one of my top 20 things I wanted to do 2 vacations ago, and I still have yet to do it. I still haven't been to the Area 15. I swore I was going to go the first night this trip, and somehow just didn't make it. Um, but all in all, I've still had a great time. I've explored. There are certain spots where I just feel at home in Las Vegas. I'd never move here though. Never. I see. I have so many conversations with locals when I'm here, with the rideshare drivers, or with entertainers that are on breaks. No, Kiwi Farms. I don't need strippers. I need entertainers, musicians, etc. I've had a lot of conversations with folks, and yeah, it just seems like you have to have 2 or 3 things going on, or have to have a career that's really locked in order to get by in a town like this. I could be wrong. Let me know if you're from Vegas and you disagree. Let me know. Uh, but it seems like everyone's got a side gig. Everyone's trying to make just a little bit more to get by. And then the weather, yeah, this 115 degrees we saw later in the week last week, and then all of the rain we got, the flooding. That's something I didn't talk about. Is some of the crazy flooding. It was flooding so bad we had reservations yesterday at the Flamingo, but they were still trying to clean up the street from the flooding the day before, and could not get to the Flamingo. I had to be let off in the rain at the Lake Promenade, which is outside walking in order to get where I had to go. It's amazing. It's amazing how much of Vegas flooded this past weekend, and just how unprepared the desert is for that much water at once. But it's also the desert, so it all dried up pretty quickly. I think most of the city's mostly dry by now. I think there was supposed to be a little rain at some point today, but yeah, I don't even think that's still in the forecast. I could be wrong. Could be raining right now for all I know. I've been in here the whole time. Anyway, we're approaching the end of the show now. I wanted to take a moment and say thank you, folks, for stopping by. Um, if you can, uh, go over to my Rumble, click like and follow. Click like on this video, click subscribe here on YouTube. Um, Share some of my content off platform if you can. Uh, if you see somebody talking about any of the topics we covered today, feel free to share this video on another platform and let people know, hey, here's what this guy thought about this bullshit with Dick and Vito versus Eric and Nick Rekieta's whole involvement in it all. He had an interesting take or whatever. Feel free to just throw my argument into the ring. Um, but yeah, thank you for stopping by. You can catch me this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central, at www.rumble.com/mild/live for my next show. And, Lord willing, and rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett. Take care of yourselves. Don't get any on you. Outlast the haters. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. I'll catch you next time on Mild's Culture Plate. Thank you. Peace.